Hello everyone. I have basically finalized my Essence Drain build. I've put in a couple more mirrors, so the build's definitely improved, and I just wanted to talk about that and show you the changes since I've made 2 videos on this already. And this is basically my baby. This is my first league. I've been playing Essence Drain since the beginning of the league, and I've been living and dying by it. So just wanted to show it off. Honestly, I kind of love it. Before I get into the changes, the main idea of the build is the same. Essence Drain is my offense and defense. It is my damage. It is my regeneration. And I basically just try and have a large health pool, do a lot of damage. I have max all res. I have a bunch of armor from Determination, an armor flask with my mage blood, a little bit on my tree. And yeah, I just try and put Essence Drain on as many enemies as possible and not get one shot. So let's get right into all the changes. The first big change and kind of plot twist change, I guess, is this amulet. In the last video, I double corrupted a Ashes of the Stars amulet and got you can apply additional curses on it, which was like my goal. It was a huge deal for the build actually, but I sold it. I sold it for like 1.35 mirror, which was like 1,000 plus divines, and I spent 1,200 divines making this amulet. You basically have to recombinate this to get the damage over time multiplier on it, because there's just no good way to horticraft this. Yeah, it's called horticrafting. I always hear people call it harvest crafting, but the horticrafting, there's really no good way to get horticrafting damage over time multiplier because I think it's labeled as damage or something. Yeah, damage. So I had to recombinate. I failed like 4 or 5 times, and it's expensive to buy these amulets. And it's really annoying to roll damage over time multiplier and +2, or well, it's +1 to level up all skill gems because it's very rare, and then you have to annul down. And I've rolled amulets like 5,000 times with chaos, so that's expensive in itself too, and just so much time. I'm actually like a demon at focusing on rolls now because I've done it so much. But yeah, so this amulet is damage, and that's all it is, and it's a lot of it, so it was really good to put on the build. And you can see I've put Hinakora's locks on it to try and double this, but it's very unlikely that that ever happens. I only will take obviously all positives, +4 to all chaos and +4 to all skill gems. I don't know what the odds are. If it's a 50-50 that all the stats end up positive or negative, and there's no like other influence that's stopping it from that, I think from what I calculated, it's about a 3% chance that you get the two times or more multiplier, and then all the stats positive. It's like a little bit less than 3%, but I don't know how this works. I looked it up on Reddit and stuff, and I couldn't find an answer, so I don't know. And I'm not going to just sit here. I'm basically out of money. I've mirrored this. I've, Hinakora's lock and Reflecting misted it a few times and didn't get it, obviously. And I'm basically done with the league because spending hours grinding out currency for that is just going to be too much. And with this amulet made, the only thing that was remaining on my build that needed to be changed was my ring. I had this ring forever. I literally bought this for like a few chaos, which blows my mind because this is an insane multiplier on this maximum energy shield roll, which I really need on the build. And then the bunch of cast speed and the regeneration was really good on my build because I'm using Righteous Fire. And the cast speed really helps me live when I like miss an Essence Drain or have to cast one out really fast. So those 3 stats were like, I need them on a ring. And just trying to improve on that was really hard. And I really could not figure out how to really spend a bunch of divines to make a ring worth making. Like I just thought looped forever. There was no answer. I couldn't figure it out. I just really wanted the energy shield, and I also wanted damage and the cast speed and all this stuff. And I just kind of thought about it and just thought of this combination that a lot of people are doing, with this is the Light of Meaning jewel, and then this is the Unnatural Instinct jewel. If you put them down here, they overlap, and the bonus that you get on all passive skills in Radius applies to all these ones that I have not allocated, because they are allocated from this Unnatural Instinct jewel. So you can see that the Unnatural Instinct on the menu that it pulls out when I hover over it, that shows me all these stats that I'm getting. Where's my energy shield? 54% increase maximum energy shield from just this jewel. And then I'm also getting it from this node, this node, this, and all these nodes that are actually allocated in the radius of this are also giving me 3% energy shield. So this is a ton of energy shield. I don't know what it was. What was it in my last video? So in my last video, I had 10,627 energy shield. So I've made a pretty good increase with 12,195. And it wasn't just this jewel. I also made a new helmet. I just basically recrafted the helmet that I had because on the hybrid energy shield stat, it was not percent. It was actually flat, just because I settled on it when I was crafting it the first time. And then also I bought a higher 29% quality helmet, obviously. Since I had the currency too, I just didn't settle. I just sat here and crafted this until it worked out. So with that, and then the energy shield mastery, which is 100% increased energy shield from equipped helmet. Obviously having a good helmet is really good, and all of that adds up to a lot more energy shield. So with all that energy shield that I don't need to put on my ring anymore, I was able to make a damage ring. And also, well, I guess first, I did say that I wanted cast speed and regeneration. Well, on this Unnatural Instinct, you can see that I'm getting 1.3% of life per second regenerated, which with Zealot's Oath, that's energy shield. And then also, if you didn't know, if you have to allocate the node to put the tattoo here, but if you unallocate it and just go off, as long as it's in the range of this Unnatural Instinct, it does give you the tattoo benefit. So that's what the 0.3% regeneration is from. And then I forget what the rest of the regeneration is from. It's 0.3, 0.4, 0.3. So yeah, the other percent is right here. So I get my regeneration from this, and then also I get 9% cast speed, which is not anywhere near what I had on the ring, since with Calandra's Touch, it was like almost 40%. But I took that loss for a lot more damage. And you can see I have damage over time multiplier, increased chaos damage. I do have some energy shield, it's just not as much. And then I do get +1 to minimum endurance charges, which is a nice little defensive bonus. And you can see that I did Reflecting Mist this, and I did get 4 positive stats. I got a pretty bad multiplier. I think it was like 1.65. Obviously I want 2, which like a 2 times multiplier or more. It would have been insane, because I would get 6, I'd get 3 minimum endurance charges, and then with Calandra's Touch, I'd get 6 minimum, which I would have to like find out how to get 6 endurance charges on my build, but I would have done it. I think I can do it with a staff suffix, and then this node right here, obviously. I would have figured it out, because it would have been pretty pog. But yeah, I hit this first try. I did Calandra's, Hinakora's Locket, and then Reflecting Mist. And first try, I get 4 positive stats. The level 30 aspect of the spider skill cannot be changed. That's why I put it on here. So yeah, this is insane luck. Sucks I didn't get the multiplier, but just the fact that all 4 of these stats were positive was amazing. And I couldn't be happier. So I took it. I'm not going to sit here and keep rolling that for like 250 divines per try. So how did I manage to make all this work with my passive points without completely tearing apart my build? Well, first of all, I think I had like this whole line right here, so I could have these energy shield nodes. Well, I just took these energy shield nodes down here instead, and then I can route up to this jewel socket. And then also I had this whole right side of the tree taken, kinda, not the whole right side, but I came down to this jewel socket, and then I had these the mana notable, I had this evasion energy shield notable taken, and I got rid of all that. I had my Balance of Terror Cobalt Jewel, I bought a 3 passive voices and then slotted it up here because the action speed cannot be modified to be below base value if I cast Temporal Chains. Is still extremely important, and I will never remove it from this build because I love doing Delirium content and having Delirium in my maps. So having that is very necessary for living. And yeah, that's just basically how I made it work. I just got rid of those parts of the tree and all this. I am taking I can apply an additional curse because it's kind of quality of life. If I'm casting this and it overrides my damage curses, it kind of sucks. But it's something that can be played around, so I really don't need these, and I could use the passive points elsewhere if I was going to like min-max the build somehow. I don't know, down the line, but right now I'm very happy with all this. So when I was making all these changes, I did put this level 30 of Aspect of the Spider skill on. I just kind of did it because it was a free stat, and putting anything else on there would risk making Reflecting Misting it even harder. So I just kind of put it here, and I didn't know much about it. Well, I just kind of made it work with the build. This does take up mana reservation, and I was really tight on mana reservation, and I didn't think I was going to be able to make it work, but I did without getting rid of any of my auras, and this is how I did it here. The one thing I got rid of here on my build to make this work was I got rid of, what was it? Intensify, and left the increased area of effect support on my Contagion, so I could move down my Withering Step and then free up a slot on my helmet, and that's because I have Arrogance support, and this makes it so the auras that are linked to it take up life instead. And instead of having Malevolence here, which is a 50% mana reservation, I put on Discipline and Purity of Lightning, which are both 35%. So I'm taking the 70% mana reservation between the two from my mana and putting it on my life. And to make this work, you need a level 4 Enlighten, and then you need some more. Oh, you do need what is it? The Mastery on your passive tree. Is it this one? Yeah, 20% increased life reservation efficiency of skills. You need a level 21 Arrogance support. And then also you need some other form of life reservation efficiency, which you can get on a ring. And no, that is not going to happen. Or you can allocate this Champion of the Cause on your Amulet Anointment. I got rid of my Tranquility for that, which was 5% Energy Shield. And then all Energy Shield modifiers are converted to damage at like 30% of their value or something is what I had. But like I've added so much damage to my build that taking the loss there is fine. And I'm actually adding damage to my build with this. Actually, I need a path of building this. Okay, yeah, as I was talking about it, I was confused if I made the right decision or not. I did get rid of Tranquility to add the Aspect of the Spider skill, because Aspect of the Spider is more damage, because it is a more damage multiplier when Tranquility just adds on to like the already increased damage multiplier. This Aspect of the Spider skill does add on to the same multiplier that Vaal Blight is, but since that multiplier is like just with these two alone, that just adding this onto that one, which isn't even up all the time, but this is always applying it every second, it's a good idea, definitely. But yeah, I had to make a lot of life reservation to make this work, but since I got so much reservation from that, the Champion of the Cause anointment, and then there wasn't as much mana being reserved, then I was also able to get rid of that mana reservation on this part of the tree. I actually was getting a lot of effect to my curses from here, so it kind of sucks. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing to change these nodes to go back into the mana reservation and then get more effect from my curses, but is what it is. And as I think about it, I don't think I had this Elegant Hubris in my last video either. I just routed, I had a lot of like the points going this way and coming up. It was to get Chaos res on this node. Well, I saved a lot of passive points by going across the top instead of coming up and then getting a lot of them by doing this. This is spell damage, and spell damage, and then this one is armor. and then I can take this mastery, so I just get a lot of damage from this also. And I get my chaos res from the crafts on my items. This is one of the only problems with my build right now, is that when I get exposed, like one of the elemental exposures, my resist will go below this, which kinda does suck, but it just is what it is now. I like this more. I do a lot more damage, and I am pretty tanky because of the increased health. But ideally, if I could... Oh, actually, I don't have it in there. I have it right here. I did craft another ring. And the reason I crafted this is because I got one of those sublime jewels with purity of fire on it from a boss fight from Uber Elder. So I sold that for 1.3 mirrors also. So I just had all this money lying around. So I crafted another ring because I'd like to Hinakora's Reflecting Mist this one instead. And instead of the aspect of the spider skill on my ring, I could put it on my boots. And then, let's say in Dream World, where I hit a 2x multiplier on this ring with the Reflecting Mist, it would be like 100% all res with the Calandra's Touch. So I'd be able to take a lot of suffixes off my gear, which are mostly resistances, and then craft something useful. Like I'd be able to put the aspect of the spider on my boots or something. And then, I don't even know, just some influence modifiers that are probably good. I would just, again, I don't think I'm going to go further with this build because it's a lot of farming. But if I could just sit here and Reflecting Mist Hinakora's Lock Reflecting Mist these, that'd be pretty dope. Okay, I don't think there's anything more with this build. I never talked about, like, if you wanted to play this build, like, should you? Or how would you go about this? Because, I mean, I've put many mirrors into this, and it was a struggle to get here. I did start playing the game with this build. I league started this build. I learned the game with this build. I almost quit the game with this build, but I stuck it out and kept trying to figure out how to make it better. I have done a lot of different builds with this, so it's kind of hard to say how you would get to this point. I mean, it would take a long time. I mean, if you want to get to this point, don't start Essence Drain. Start something meta and then build this, obviously. Because Essence Drain isn't amazing or anything. But if you just want to use Essence Drain, I will link below the league starter that I followed. I don't know how it'll be in the next league, but the guy seems to update his builds, and it was actually really good. I do think maybe like after you league start and finish the build that guide has, you should probably move to some kind of intelligence stacking with chaos inoculation. You won't be able to go low life and get more damage, and then you won't be able to reserve life, which kind of sucks, which is the whole point of this. But this is a very not tanky build, and you need a lot to make it work well. And yeah, if you just want that much damage, then you also want that much tank. So it just is what it is. It's not an amazing skill. I'm obviously not the best player. This is my first league. This is my first build. I've done very well with it, but I'm sure someone could do it better, who's much more experienced. I don't know how much better. I think this is pretty maxed out. I mean, there's so many little things that I could grind out, but any big improvements, any like drastic, crazy like things that make this way better, I just don't see it happening. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it, because I really never shared my thoughts on Essence Drain itself and how you could get here. So that's that. Where am I going from here? I was going to play Necro Settlers. I thought I was better than I was, and I played Ice Shot without a guide, and I got to like Act 9, and it was really rough. I changed my build up a tiny bit, and I got to like red tier maps, and just the build wasn't working. So I basically quit Necro Settlers, and I've just been grinding out the campaign to learn it better. I think next league, whenever that is, next year, I want to do a really strong league start so I can make more cool builds like this. I think that's a better way to go about it than struggling with a bad skill. I think I should just go meta, play the game very optimally, and until then learn how to like actually play the game optimally, and farm as much as I can to make cool builds like this, because I think this is going to be my favorite part of the game. Making something that's not amazing pretty amazing. It's just a cool challenge to really spend a lot of thought and time into. So if you wanted to see this build in action, I will be putting out a new farming video very soon. Something with rogue exiles. It's not like a main strategy. I think everyone has already found out all those. It's like one of the most popular endgame farms of the league. Well, I've been doing something that I have not seen other people do, so it'll just be a little, you can add this on to your already ran rogue exile strategy. So subscribe for that, and if you want to see the build in action. Besides that, comment any questions you have. Leave a like if you liked me sitting here yapping, talking about my build for a long time. And subscribe if you want to see mostly tutorial PoE content and any other builds that I have in the future. See ya.